In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
It is a freezing morning out there before the sun comes up. Good morning. I'm Tom Miller, meteorologist Kristen Curry here with us as well. You know, on these mornings like this, I had to take my dog out before I came to work.
Yeah.
And you just feel bad for them because you're like, it is chilly out there.
No one wants to get out of bed when it's this cold, right? Whether you've got 2 legs or 4. Let me show you what's going on with this forecast, because that cold front blew in and those temperatures crashed yesterday. Right now, we are in the wake of the front. Here's our LA Medical Emergency Room camera there in Bastrop. Clear skies. In fact, we're going to see a good amount of sunshine once it does come up in the 7 a.m. hour. But boy, is it cold out there. Look at your actual air temperatures. I stress that because this morning is our first freeze of the season in downtown Austin, dropping to 30 right now, although most of us in the 20s. You factor in the wind and the feels like temperature, or the wind chill value, down to the teens and 20s area wide. Heaviest coat you can find in the closet. That's what we're looking for this morning. On the way to the 40s today, plenty of sunshine to help get us there with dry skies. We do stay cold all week long, though. Hard freezes overnight expected for the next several nights. But the big question remains, will we see that wintry mix, that sleet, freezing rain, snow chance later in the week? I've got an update for you coming up in your first warning forecast. Tom?
Thank you, Kristen. With these colder temperatures, Austin is opening up overnight cold weather shelters. They will stay open until at least Thursday. Registration for the shelter is between 6 and 8 each night at the One Texas Center. It's over on Barton Springs Road. There is also an after-hours service for anyone who misses the registration window. While the shelters are primarily used by those experiencing homelessness, they are available for anyone who needs a warm place to spend the night. City is opening those shelters whenever the temperature at Camp Mabry is at 35 or below. Some businesses in Austin are welcoming the cold weather, though. The general manager of Callahan's General Store says it's seeing an uptick in sales for items meant to keep you warm.
We're starting to see more people come in and pick up some firewood and some portable heaters. We're also seeing people coming in to pick up insulators for their hoses and for their pipes. So all in all, we're starting to see people get ahead of this instead of coming in at the last second, the big rush. We do anticipate that rush will happen. It happens everywhere.
A lot of shots are made from the right.
GM said he does not expect those stores to run out of supplies anytime soon. More than a dozen people are without a home this morning as the cold has moved in. Yesterday, an apartment fire broke out at West William Cannon Drive. And look at this. Austin Fire says combustible framing around a fireplace caused that fire. 15 people are now without a place to live. Austin's Public Safety Commission is going to be meeting today. It is discussing winter weather plans, including communication and partnerships with local organizations. Austin Police will speak on a quarterly public safety report. Commission will also discuss the city's budget. Your newest and re-elected members of Austin City Council are going to be sworn in later today. There's a special ceremony swearing them in at 6 tonight at Austin City Hall's council chambers. Those members had seats available for re-election in the last election cycle. The new council members are Krista Lane for District 6, Mike Siegel for District 7, and Mark Dushin for District 10. Those members returning: Mayor Kirk Watson, Vanessa Fuentes for District 2, and Jose Chito Vela for District 4. Meantime, the FBI has provided new information Sunday on the deadly New Year's Day attack in New Orleans. Footage includes Shamsuddin Jabbar testing Meta smart glasses in the mirror. There's also this surveillance video of him in the French Quarter before the truck attack. The suspect accused of killing 14 people there. The FBI says he visited New Orleans twice in the weeks before the attack and recorded video. Investigators say Jabbar was actually wearing those glasses during the attack, but there's no indication he was recording at the time. And authorities also released some new information about the man who died in that Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas New Year's Day. Police say they were able to access one of 2 phones found in the vehicle. There they found text entries. Police say Matthew Livelsberger had an issue with the state of the country, warning about weak leadership and how the U.S., he says, was headed towards collapse. There are also some concerns over safety in the U.S. Capitol just before lawmakers are meeting to certify last year's election results. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says the FBI has put out a notice. It is encouraging all state and local officials to be mindful that there could be copycat perpetrators. They may want to conduct attacks similar to those in New Orleans and Las Vegas. So there's now fencing back up around the U.S. Capitol ahead of the certification of the election today and the 4-year anniversary of the riot at the U.S. Capitol. For the first time, the Department of Homeland Security has designated Congress's certification of presidential electors on January 6th as a national special security event. It is the same level of protection as inaugurations and the Super Bowl. Here's what D.C.'s Metro Police Department is saying at a press conference.
As of this moment, there are no credible known threats here in the District of Columbia, but out of an abundance of caution, I have heightened our security postures across the city in light of the recent events.
There are more high-profile events like former President Jimmy Carter's official state funeral on January 9th and the inauguration, which is January 20th. A historic change signed into law, how it's meant to help public workers. Plus a toll charge for $9 during peak hours. The city outside of Texas making the change that it says could help with congestion. Good morning. This is a live look, not in Central Texas, although it certainly feels like it here at 31 degrees out at the airport. This is Indianapolis, though, where you can see there is snow on the ground. So much of the Midwest is getting hit by snow. A lot of the East Coast dealing with that as well. Kristen's going to have your full forecast in just a moment. First, though, to your news, and President Joe Biden has signed some new bipartisan legislation that boosts Social Security benefits for more than 2 million retired public workers. That legislation expands benefits for Americans previously denied or had reduced Social Security checks, and that was because they or their spouses were entitled to public pensions. This clears the way for public sector workers to receive increases in their Social Security benefits.
The bill I'm signing today is about a simple proposition. Americans who have worked hard all their lives to earn an honest living should be able to retire with economic security and dignity. That's the entire purpose of the Social Security system crafted by Franklin Delano Roosevelt nearly 90 years ago.
The White House says Biden is the first president in more than 20 years to expand Social Security benefits. Still ahead, a man's death under investigation in Austin, a suspicious homeless camp that there are ties to. Plus, it is getting colder and colder outside. It's going to stay like that all morning. We have an in-depth look at your forecast. Kristen Curry with the news everyone is looking for next.
Good morning, all. Happy Monday. The NFL season comes to a close, and we're going to do our best to keep things interesting with the Cowboys and Texans finishing their regular season. Keep it here.
Good morning. This is a live look out from our Ally Medical camera in Bastrop County. Traffic moving along just fine there. This morning marks the start of Hoda Kotb's final week as a Today Show co-anchor. As we are counting down to her final show Friday, we're also looking back at some special moments of Hoda's time on Today, including her favorite place, the Today Plaza.
Wait a minute! This is like such a great moment! Oh my God! What school do you go to?
I go to Silveridge Elementary in Davie, Florida!
Thank you.
Whether it is singing during the concerts out there, celebrating a birthday, giving someone some hugs, Hoda always relishes every chance she had to connect with the audience in person, calling it a Hodabration. And be sure to tune in to Today all week for the surprises they have in store for Hoda. There's also this heavy snow falling in Washington, D.C. right now. People were out enjoying the National Mall with a snowball fight. Now, this specifically is part of a tradition. D.C. has a snowball fight association that plans ahead of time waiting for the first heavy snowfall. Perfect snowy conditions like this. So the association formed in 2010 when more than 2,000 people showed up for a snowball fight then. The D.C. region could get up to a foot of snow through the rest of today.
Looks like fun.
It does look like a lot of fun. And Kristen, I'm just going to say, all eyes are on our forecast right now. I mean, it's something that everyone's talking about and thinking about.
Absolutely. Some are excited, some are triggered, some are saying, just get me through it, right? So let me help you get through it. Let's begin with a look at your radar. Right now, clear across the state. Cold front passed through. You can kind of see on the edge there the storm system that's going to bring parts of the East Coast, including D.C. All of that snowfall through the day today is what was responsible for the cold front we had blow through yesterday. In its wake, our temperatures are quite cold this morning. A widespread freeze here in Central Texas, below freezing here in Austin as we currently sit at 30 in downtown, 20s out towards the west. 20s and 30s to the east. Looking ahead, not much of a warm up, but we'll take 40s considering how cold it is this morning. High of 47 today, and then we drop fairly quickly again back down to very cold temperatures tonight. A cold weather advisory remains in effect until 10 a.m. this morning. As highlighted earlier, our wind chills this morning are largely in the teens and 20s. That's going to be the case through this morning as we're still fighting those post cold front gusty winds out of the northeast. This could be reissued again tonight into tomorrow. And again, this is that cold weather advisory new as of this season. We no longer use wind chill advisories. It's going to be cold weather advisories moving forward. Let's talk about the skies. Plenty of sunshine today. In fact, we'll struggle to see clouds most of the day. I think the clouds will eventually come in tonight into tomorrow. Tomorrow still looking mainly sunny and dry though. As we get into Wednesday, a disturbance coming out of the Pacific looks to throw some moisture at us, and we're cloudy almost all day Wednesday. Late Wednesday into Thursday is when we start to see a little bit more moisture down here at the ground to begin the wintry mix potential. Now, whether it falls as sleet, freezing rain, snow, or just plain liquid rain, that line is going to be real tough this far out. We're still good 3 to 4 days in advance. So this is going to likely change, and we'll fine tune this getting closer. But what we do know is there is that wintry mix potential here in Central Texas starting Wednesday night and continuing on Thursday. We do have pretty good model agreement that Thursday, whether you're looking at computer model number 1 or even computer model number 2, that we've got a mix of likely some rain further to the east, maybe that freezing rain, sleet, snow mix here in Austin, and then more of that chance of accumulating snow out towards the hill country once we do get into the afternoon on Thursday. But all of our models are also showing this out of here by Friday afternoon. So my biggest concern would be Wednesday night through Friday morning. What do we know for sure? We know it's going to be cold in the afternoons all week long. Frigid nights with widespread freezes the next 5 to 6 nights. We will get sunshine today and tomorrow. We will get some type of precipitation beginning late Wednesday through Thursday and Friday. What we don't know is where will that freezing line set up, and that obviously is going to play into the potential accumulations of who gets snow, who just gets plain old rain, and whether or not we have to deal with icing. So a very complicated forecast as we get into the middle to later part of the next week. We have to make sure that we have a way to connect with each other. So the KXAN weather app right here in KXAN News Today, those are going to be your outlets to get the information you need. Highs in the 30s and 40s all the way up until this weekend. Main time frame there late Wednesday, Thursday into Friday with the wintry mix. Overnight lows very cold moving forward. Hey, Missouri, the drivers out there being told to avoid traveling on the roads today as conditions impacted by that winter storm are going to make things real tough. Road conditions have led to hundreds of calls for assistance, and in some cases, motorists have even been stranded. Tow truck employees there have been working around the clock since this weekend, towing cars, helping people out. And it may be bad for business, but even towing companies are saying it's best to just stay home and wait out this storm. Tom?
Thank you, Kristen. There is a controversial new pricing plan happening in New York City that could even impact visitors. There's a new toll zone on the island that requires you to pay $9 during peak hours. The goal is to reduce traffic gridlocks and air pollution, but not everyone's happy about this. In New York, members of the firefighters union are speaking out against that plan, saying they will no longer use their personal cars to transfer equipment and people from one firehouse to the next.
They will be putting firefighters on emergency vehicles, transporting them to and from different work locations, as they're also trying to respond to the many runs that we take in, thousands of runs a day. This is going to cause a serious problem in response times. It's going to be dangerous in New York City.
Still waiting to be seen whether or not this plan will actually work. Also this morning, police are investigating a man found dead inside an Austin homeless camp and calling it suspicious. Happened just before 4 Saturday morning, and this is in a wooded area off Nelms Drive near William Cannon and I-35, southeast Austin. Call first came in as a fire in the woods, but when firefighters got there and put out the flames, found a man dead. KXAN's Barrett Tryon takes a closer look. Something police say they see more of this time of year.
This very well could have been an accident, or it could have been something else, but right now we don't have that information.
Police spending much of Saturday in this area in southeast Austin. Firefighters originally came out here to put out a fire. That's when they found a man's body.
Call text advised it was in the wooded area nearby the apartment complex, between the complex and a gas station.
Police say it is not being investigated as a homicide, instead saying it is being investigated as a suspicious death.
This is just something that the Austin Police Department, the homicide detectives, investigate regularly. So there's nothing to make it think that this is a homicide or anything like that. It's just always investigated by them.
While crews investigate what happened, it's something police and fire see a lot of this time of year.
I do know that transient campfires happen on a regular basis, especially during the wintertime. But that's all the information I have about that right now.
Homeless outreach groups like ECHO in Austin regularly update what's being done to help those experiencing homelessness. The most recent data from the group shows it estimates there are more than 5,000 people living on the streets in Travis County. It is split nearly 50-50 between men and women. 11% are veterans, and another 11% are families with children. Meanwhile, police continue to look for anyone with information on what might have unfolded. In Austin, Barrett Tryon, KXAN News.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all, and happy Monday. Week 18 of the NFL season yesterday, and Week 18 kind of be a funny thing. Some games matter a lot. Some games do not really matter much at all. That was the case for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's try to make this interesting. They are already eliminated from playoff contention heading in, so why not start Trey Lance, see what you got early on? How about slinging it to Kevontae Turpin for over 30 yards? That good for Lance. Not the best statistical day for him, but it set up a field goal. Later in the fourth quarter, the handoff to former Cedar Ridge standout Deuce Vaughn on in. Big run set up, yes, another field goal. Then finally later in the fourth quarter, they find the end zone at the feet of Rico Dowdle, and they go up. But late, 6 seconds to go, they're up 3. Washington already in the playoffs. They don't want to go to overtime. It's either a win or loss for them, and they want to win. Terry McLaurin from Marcus Mariota and the former Ohio State Buckeye able to ice it. Dallas finishes the season 7-10. Mike McCarthy certainly sounds like he wants to be back. Also, a game that did not matter the most, a very chilly C.J. Stroud in Houston trying to bounce back from that ugly loss last week. And he's able to find Nico Collins on his first drive, and that was pretty much it for C.J. Stroud on the day. Then Davis Mills came in, and how about this? Just textbook, by the book handoff on the old HB dive. Dameon Pierce, 92-yard house call, and the phone is ringing, my friends. Able to outrun the defenders from Tennessee, who is just really bad at football, is how I would describe Tennessee in a way I can say on television. Texans roll, offense, defense. They're facing Will Levis, and oh, poor Will Levis. I know he has a lot of mayonnaise commercials. Hope he can still get the coin from those, because his football career in this season, not the best. Houston, AFC South champions, they are moving on to the postseason with a victory. Let's go to Texas women's basketball. Had a big win to start SEC play. Vic Schaefer throwing his hands up after one win in conference play against Oklahoma. That was a top 10 win. Then they got to come back home and try to go 2-0 in conference play against Arkansas a day ago. Madison Booker and this Texas team looking to stay unbeaten in the SEC in their first year in the conference. How about an early steal? That is good news for Texas defense. Into offense, it's Rory Harmon up ahead to Shea Holly, and Texas rolling from there. Then it's off the miss inside Justice Carlton, one of the great young players on this Texas team. Here it's Jordan Lee, another one of her 4 triples on the day, and Texas really able to start running away from there. Aaliyah Moore, team high points on the day, able to get things going inside. Then it's Carlton again from the top, knocking down the triple. A dominant effort from Texas. They take down Arkansas. 1 loss on the season for Vic Schaefer's crew, 0 in SEC play. I know no Texas football talk, but plenty more to come the rest of the day on KXAN News this evening and over on KXAN.com. That's it for us. We'll send it back over to you.
Still ahead, the advice that every plant lover should hear as our temperatures dip below freezing. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us for that. Hope you'll join us on air for that story. You can find all our stories on our website, KXAN.com.